Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable the Examiners, good morning. First of all, I would like to thank because given me the opportunities to present my research proposal. So let's start it. Chapter 1, Introduction. The first is background. According to Hussein 2018 and Kajal 2013, there are some problems in teaching and learning grammar, such as the teachers are less of experience in teaching, the learning activities in classroom is pure, the students do not dare to ask and share their opinion, the methods and learning media is not appropriate, the material is not authentic and overly difficult, students and teachers are lack of interactions, or even the students are lack of concentration in class. The aim of this research is to find out whether English British Council site can be significantly effective in grammar learning process in senior high school of One Karosa or not. The researcher will do the researcher took the title, The Effectiveness of English British Council as Media on Students' English Grammar at Senior High School Students. The second is problem identification. After observe the student in the classroom, the researcher tried to talk with them and ask them in English language and found some problem. From the interview with students also, the researcher found another problem that is about their grammar. The students still cannot use the right conjunctions and the right tenses. The third is problem limitation and formulation. In this present study, the researcher concentrated on the use of English British Council site that applied in grammar learning. The respondent of this study is the second grade students of senior high school of One Karosa. The fourth is research objective. Related to the formulation of the problem, the aim of this study is to measure the effectiveness of using English British Council on grammar learning at senior high school of One Karosa. The fifth is research benefits. The result of this study is expected to give some benefits as follows. The first is for the researchers, the second is for the teachers, the third is for the students. Chapter 2, Literature Review. In this chapter, the researcher presents previous related studies and theoretical framework. The first is previous related studies. Many researchers have exposed the identification of students' achievement in learning English to make teaching and learning process more effective. Some of the researchers find are concisely below. The first is Adinda Renita Pradana 2020 conducted a research under the title The Effectiveness of Kahoot Media in Grammar Learning Process of Cooperative Model at Senior High School of One Majene. The aim of this research is to find out whether Kahoot can be significantly effective in grammar learning process of cooperative model in Senior High School of One Majene or not. The second is Bakiatus Soliha and Muhammad Kurdi Wijaya 2020 conducted a researcher under the title The Effect of English British Council site on students' English vocabulary at 8th grade junior high school of Two Bengkalan. This research is quantitative pre-experimental research with one group pre-test, post-test design. It is aimed to measure the effectiveness of using the English British Council site toward the students mastering vocabulary. The third is Manun Soleha 2019 conducted a researcher under the title The Effectiveness of English Tenses Android Application to Improve Students' Grammar on Simple Past Tense. This research has used through quasi-experimental study using non-equivalent control group design. The researcher used two strategies in teaching learning process. The research aims to determine if the use of English tenses Android application was effective and different in teaching simple past tense to the members of English Friendship Club. The second is theoretical framework. The first is student grammar. Definition of student. Student is undergraduate or postgraduate person who is studying at a college, polytechnic or university, boy or girl attending school, anyone who studies who is devoted to acquisition of knowledge. Formed by 1994, Manun Soleha 2019. In different sentences, Victoria 2018 defines that student is person who is studying at a college or university, or person study at secondary school, or any person interested in a particular subject. The second is grammar. Grammar is a set of rules that explores the forms and structures of sentences that can be used in a language. Gleason and Ratner 2019, Thornbury 1999. In conclusion, grammar is the study of the classes of words, their inflections, functions, and relations in the sentence of language. Learning grammar means the study how words are constructed in sentence well. When the pattern of grammar is used appropriately and how the sentence will be interpreted correctly. The second is using IT in English teaching. According to EAD and Lockyer 2013, technology becomes an integral part of the learning experience and a significant issue for teachers. From the beginning of preparing learning experiences through to teaching and learning process, technology continues to grow in importance as a tool to help teachers facilitate language learning for deaf learners. The third is British Council. Definition of British Council. According to britishcouncil.org 2021, Learn English Grammar application is the educational application that is easy to use in learning grammar. It offers grammar. This application consists of some levels from beginner up to advanced. The third is hypothesis. A hypothesis is a specific testable prediction about what you expect to happen in your study. Kabir 2016. Oscar 2018 states, in any study, one must explicitly state the predictions of their null and alternative hypothesis. The null hypothesis predicts the expected relationship will not be observed. Alternate hypothesis predicts the expected relationship will be observed. Based on those statements above, the researcher will use two hypotheses. The hypotheses are as follows. The first is alternative hypothesis. English Grammar British Council is significantly effective on students' English grammar at senior high school students. The second hypothesis is null hypothesis. English grammar British Council is not significantly effective on students' English grammar at senior high school students. Chapter 3 Research Method. The first is research type and design. In this research, the writer used quantitative research, especially experimental design. Quantitative research is a research that is used numerical data and statistical formula. There are some kinds of quantitative research. Experimental design is a kind of quantitative research. In this research, the researcher used quasi-experiment, especially pre- and post-test design. Based on this statement, in this design, a popular approach to quasi-experiments, the experimental group receives the treatment. Criswell 2014. Pretest is a test that is given before the researcher gives treatment or explanation to the students, whereas post-test is a test that is given after the researcher gives treatment to the students. The researcher will use quasi-experiment because the writer wants to compare two groups. The first group is a group that talk without British Council. There is treatment in experimental group, whereas in control group or there is no treatment. The second is research schedule and location. This research will conduct at Senior High School of Wankarosa and looking for the effectiveness of using British Council at Senior High School students. The research will conduct on October. The third is population and sample. The first is population. Son 2015 argued that a population is a group of elements about which you might later make claims. In this research, the population is the 12th grade students of Senior High School of Wankarosa in academic year 2021 and 2022. The second is sample and sampling. A sample is the number of individual cases that you ultimately draw and from which or whom you generate data. Levy 2017. It means that sample is the smaller part of the population. In this research, the researcher will take two classes as the sample. The fourth is research procedures. Method of data collection tells about the procedures for collecting the data. In this research, the researcher will give tests for collecting the data. Levy 2017 state that pretest is given before the experiment to know what the experiment will be given, and a post-test given after the experiment to know the result of the experiment had been given. Based on the statement above, the tests will be used in this research are as follows: pretest, post-test, and questionnaire. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for your nice attention, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.